Neo Harbor Rescue Squad is a fun game with tons of mini games, and while the game does give you kind of like a little bit of a tutorial at the beginning, it doesn't really explain how to do every single mini game in it. You always get this kind of little explanation. You always get this little explanation at the top that kind of gives you a hint as to what to do, and then it gives you different button prompts on the screen. So you can see here it's telling you L2 and R2 as the thing is going to be moving. So I thought that this would be really cool just to go through kind of all the mini games. So I put together a quick video with all the different mini games kind of grouped into different categories and stuff. And I just wanted to go through and explain how I was able to actually complete them all with any tips and stuff like that I was able to do. So with that, let's just get into it. So the first one here, we've got the Heimlich Maneuver. This one, as you can see, you're pushing L2 and R2 as these rings move in. Now, the strange thing is, you would think that based on this view that you want to push when the ring gets inside the blue circle here. I found that's not really it. You almost want to do it right as it gets to these arrows here, the white arrows instead. If you actually wait too long to get inside the blue, you usually fail. And you'll have to do that part again. So you do usually get a few tries. Here is defibrillating, which is the exact same thing, exact same setup, but you'll see the dots up here at the top. That's how many times you can fail. And so this works the exact same way. You're waiting for the rings to come in, but again, you want to kind of hit it before it touches the blue, just before, otherwise you'll get an error. There's one more that's exactly like this too, which is chest compressions. Again, you'll see exact same thing. So L2, R2, again, right before it hits into that blue. There you go. See, I let it get into the blue there, and then we got a failure on that one. So, okay, the next set of ones here we have is setting the leg fracture. This is by far the easiest. You can get like arms and legs. I only put legs in here just to be easier and to keep it smaller. You just line up close to this yellow thing and push X. Like literally, you don't even have to be super close to it. It does it all for you. So that is like by far one of the easiest ones to do. Here, placing the pads, this is an interesting one because you actually have to avoid this metal bar sticking out of it. If you go too close to it, see, there you go, I can just rewind that to see it again. I touched the bar and you get this little blood splatter, and there's no like dots on this one, so you don't fail it. It just takes some extra time away and it takes longer, so I mean your score is obviously going to be going down. So you just want to do it faster than that. So again, getting it close, just like the last one, if you just push X anywhere close to it, you'll be able to do it really easily. Now the next set of mini games, remove the glass shards. There's also coming up next is remove the splinters. These work exactly the same. You bring your cursor over, push R2, which will pinch down on it, and then you want to pull straight up and move over. If you pull kind of to the side, you're going to hit the skin and you'll get a strike. And again, you don't want to get too many strikes on here. So here's the splinters, the exact same thing. So again, you want to go straight up and then over and then let go into the tray. Really nice and easy. These are good quick ones, which are good to do. Then we've got scrub the area clean. This one, I mean, literally all you're doing, it shows you here at the bottom, you're moving with the left stick, you're holding X to scrub. It doesn't matter, you can scrub everywhere on there. As long as you get over top of them, you'll be able to complete it. So it's a nice, easy one. There is another one that I've got later in the video where you have to cool down burns, which is very similar to that too. Now, this one gave me troubles at the beginning, so bandaging, so you can bandage the leg and the arm. Again, you get different ones. Here it tells you, so you use the right stick and rotate it around to apply the bandage, and you have to try and keep it in this darker white spot here. You don't want it really on these gray or outside that. There you can see I did it well, but at first I thought you could only use the right stick, and that was really awkward for me. You can actually use the left stick as well, and that works better. Or at least in my case, it worked a lot better. This can be tricky to start with. The other thing that I'd say is you never know. Sometimes the bar moves a lot faster than others. So you do have to kind of adjust as you see it going, because you're kind of going from nothing. So I always kind of start spinning before it even moves. And then if I get ahead of it, I can always just slow down to match the speed of it. Okay, next we have Wash the Eye. This one again confused me at the very beginning too, just because, again, you're panicking, you're trying to do these really quick. Again, this is another time-based one, but as you can see here, so the sticks, the joysticks on the controller actually are supposed to match your hands. So you've got your left hand and your right hand. This is going to match your left stick and your right stick. So here you're going to see that you actually pull the eyelid down by pulling the left stick down, and then you're pouring the water by pushing left on the stick, on the right stick, which is going to pour water in there. So I thought you had to do this like finesse, like at first I was doing it gently and everything. No, just pull it straight down to open the eye and then just pour, and you'll finish it every time. So nice and easy. I thought you'd have to like do like little splashes and stuff, but no, it's a lot simpler than that. Here we go. Apply gel. This is just like the this is just like soothing later on, and the one that we just saw too, where you're just going over the surface. It's really fast and easy. Again, I'd probably never fail that one. Check the blood pressure. This one seems really, really easy. The only thing that I have to say is that every time you push R2, so you push it and it goes up and up and you want to get it to go into here, you do have to be careful. The bar always goes up by a set amount. So here you'll see it looks almost like it's going by like 20, I guess, if I go back. Yeah, about 20-ish. If you get really close to here and you do it, it is possible to overshoot and you're going to fail. So what I always do is I wait, I get really, really close, as close as I can kind of thing to it, and then let it start going back down just a little bit to then push it again so that you land somewhere inside. And I mean, again, if you're too low, it doesn't hurt it at all. So I mean, you can always push it again, but going over does fail it. So again, you want to make sure that you have room. Next, you'll have to do this a few times in the game. You have to restock the ambulance and clean it. Restocking, this is literally just like a matching game, so R2 to pick it up, and then you just have to get it somewhere close to the shadow. It doesn't have to be exact. You don't have to be directly on top of it, but it should be pretty easy. Be careful. You only get a couple times that you can fail on here, so if you're trying to do it quickly, yeah, just make sure that you are getting them pretty close. I think we've got, this should be, there we go, cleaning the ambulance. You do this with the tank as well, but again, this is another one, just hold X and you're just moving the stick over top of them. Super, super easy. Now, treating chemical burns. This one is difficult, and I don't know if it's intentionally that way or not. You're moving your arm with the left stick, and then you're supposed to use the right stick to pour. Now, sometimes it will give you a direction to pour, like pour to the left or pour to the right or something like that. Sometimes, like here, it gives you no direction. I found it very buggy, that sometimes it would pour and sometimes it wouldn't. You do kind of need to be over top so that there would be like a flow. And then once you do get it actually pouring, you just need to get that on top of the burns and keep it there until they're clear. So here you can see this time it actually worked really well, but that can be tricky. Sometimes it won't kind of react the way that you think it would. Now here we go, stop the bleeding wound. Now this one again, it just says keep pressure on that wound. At first I thought it was supposed to be like a hold. You do not hold, you have to tap the button really, really hard. This bar is going to keep going up, and so you need to keep yours above the arrows here. And then it'll usually do it 4 times, so just pay attention to which button you're having to button mash. For this, you do have to push it hard enough that I found I had to move the controller in my hand to actually be able to do it. But yeah, not too bad once you know what you're doing. Now here we go. This is the last one where it's just the nice and easy scrub around. So again, this is cooling down the burns. And again, you're just going right over top of any of those things, just like the disinfecting and stuff like that. So really easy. Here's another example of the bandaging. So this time bandaging a leg. Again, it will, the speed varies, so it can be easier or harder sometimes based off of that. Now there are a few times where you're going to have to break down a door, or break down something to get into another area. This one is with the axe. I don't think there's really a way to fail it, but basically you're trying to get as close to that yellow as you can just by holding the R2 button. I've gotten the yellow before. It doesn't break it in one, so I think it does usually take a few. But again, this is a nice easy one. Now, the tourniquet, this one can be a little tricky because I find that it is very sensitive. Essentially, you're turning the right stick to tighten if you're turning it to the right, and to loosen if you're turning it to the left. You want to match up with this blue ring in here. It is very sensitive, so try and do it slowly. I know you have a timer, but if you can get it to in there, then it'll say hold, and that's when you wanna let it go and just leave it. A lot of times you'll kind of go past it and have to try and go back, and at that point it can be really finicky, and I find you run out of time. So again, trying to go slowly is probably the best bet here. Now, assist breathing. This one again can be a little bit tricky. You would think that you have to do like something with this line, or like you're having to like squeeze it like a certain pressure or anything like that. You don't. Make it really easy. All you do is just squeeze the trigger down, you'll see the stars, then release the button. Squeeze the trigger down, see the stars, release the button. Don't try and like slowly release or anything, or you'll fail. So just make sure as soon as you get to the top, release, and you'll be fine. The nosebleed one is fun. Essentially all it is just that hand is going back and forth, and you have to make sure you pinch when you're over top of the nose. It can go faster and slower, so sometimes it's easier than others. But basically just once it's over top, you just hold on to R2 and you're going to grab that nose. Again, you usually only have a couple chances, so try not to go too fast. This one is hilarious. I will play the animation because it's just so funny. Putting gauze in the nose. It is super, super easy, just like when you're fixing the splints and stuff like that. But essentially just get your hand in front of the nose and push X, and then they, bam, jam it in. Medicine, this is probably the easiest one. All you do is line up that, you'll see the line on the injection there. As long as that's anywhere inside this circle, then it will work, and you just push X. So super, super easy. Again, if you see people with that, you can always do them really, really quickly. Instead of breaking down the door, this is another one where you have to pick the lock. Essentially, you're moving the right stick up and down and the left stick up and down. Once you find hold, then you can just do the other side. And then once you get both hold, then it'll unlock it, kind of thing. So it can be a little finicky, but not too bad. Now, this is probably one of the hardest ones, and you'll encounter it a few times in the game. So they've got this for the blocked airway. I think they also have it in the exercise games that you do on your performance test. The reason that this is difficult is so these prompts here always change. Now, it is always the same pairs of them. So like here you're doing both sticks out to the side. You'll get like L2, R2, R1, R1, L1, L2, R2 kind of at the same time, up and down. So those you have to pay attention to. Also, which dot you have to do it in here will change. So I've never seen it at the very beginning because that wouldn't be fair. I have seen it here at the second one, the third, and the fourth. If it's at the second one, getting the reaction time for that can sometimes be really, really tricky. So again, that's what can kind of make this one difficult, and you're trying to push these prompts when you get into the big circle. So here, there you go. See on the second one there, we had L1, R1. When it's at the far end, it's usually pretty easy. So again, that one's just one to look out for. This is always going to come right after that, remove object from airway. I have never had a problem with this one. You literally just go straight down, push R2, grab the thing, and then just pull straight back up. I assume if you hit the sides, it's like operation and you hurt the person, so just don't touch the sides. Now, okay, this is the other one that I found the most difficult, smelling salts. Now, I did talk to the developers, and I don't know if this is going to change or not. I found this one the most inconsistent. You're supposed to, it says here, move and wave your hand, which you would do it under the person's nose. You'll see here as I do it, it will make his head twitch, which I think is what you want, but then you also see sometimes there's stars, but like the entire time I'm doing it, and I failed that. Here's another one, though, where I actually passed it, and I have a lot more time. So I don't know if it's just like a time thing, or again, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but it has to do something with the stars and the head twitching and stuff like that, but this one is definitely the most difficult. Now, strapping to the stretcher, super, super easy. All you're doing is use the right stick, go up to the belts up here, hold and pull down. A nice tip is that if you don't move the right stick anymore after you pull down, it'll start up at the top again, so you can just go straight over. But I find if you are like moving it when you're down here, then it'll kind of go all over the place, so that just makes it a little faster. Now, lifting them up to the stretcher, this is again just another button mash one, so keep pushing X to get it up higher than the arrows. Nice and easy. Sealing Wound. Now this one at the beginning was very, very difficult. The developers, I did talk to them, have made it a little bit easier. Essentially what you're trying to do is match this bandage up with the person's wound. So here you're trying to get the exact same angle. The length doesn't matter. You can open it wider than the wound. But they'll be moving their arm around, and it used to be really, really finicky. Now, as long as you're pretty close to having it lined up in that same line, it should go, which is good. Now these two, this one and the next one, are the ones that take the longest in the mini games, which is unfortunate because you will come up across them a lot. But so checking pulse, basically when you see this white dot come up, there it is, that white dot, all you have to do is push X. You're going to do the same thing for checking breathing, which I'll show after. So it's nothing difficult on here. You do have to be paying attention, but you'll have to do this 3 times, and then I don't know why after you do it the 3rd time it's done. You can't do anything else, but you have to wait for essentially like another cycle to go through. And so this should be listening to breathing. This is the exact same thing. You see the white dot, you push X, and magically, whoa, we heard him. So that'll get you, again, usually 3 or 4 times. And this does the same thing. You do it 3 times, it's finished, and then you have to wait for like a full another cycle. Solving dehydration, this is always like a group of ones that will come together. So this is inserting the spike into the IV bag. You just line up under, push X. If you're slightly off, you'll miss. But this is a nice, easy one. Now, straightening out the tube. This one you can come close to running out of time because you usually don't have a lot of time. But you just move your hand so that it's in line with this. And there you go. See, I tried grabbing before I was in line. And then you do have to make sure you get kind of from top to bottom, because if there are any kinks in there, that it won't count. Then we're disinfecting again, so this is exactly like we've seen before. And then the injecting is just like the medicine, where it's pretty easy. You get it anywhere close to there and push X, then no problem kind of thing, it'll go in. So that's a nice easy one too. Here's another way of getting through, smashing the window. This is exactly like the axe and everything, except you should get through it on 1, I believe, on this. So nice and easy that way. Now here, this is sometimes how you'll get to place the pads as well. This time you actually have to cut the close. This, all you're doing is using the right stick to go up to open the scissors and down to close the scissors. I believe you have to go down to start, and if you don't go all the way, then you get an error like I did there. So you have to see the stars. So then open, close, and make sure that you're holding it until you see those stars before switching directions, otherwise you'll get the error like I did. Then it'll be placing the pad like we saw before, where you don't want to touch it, so again you want to go down and around, not straight to it, and then just put them down. And again, if you get them anywhere close, you're fine. Now this is like a special set, so this is in your performance review, where you'll get different workout things that you do. Is only do this 1 time in the game. The sit-ups, this is just like that other mini game that we saw, where you have to match the symbols. Again, it'll be either 2nd, 3rd, or 4th spot there, so it should be pretty easy. You do have a few chances that you can mess up, but completing these well gets you a trophy, which is good. So now pull-ups. This is the other one that will also then work the exact same way. So nice and easy, nothing difficult with these ones. And once we get this one... Wow, this one actually I didn't even realize it gave me 5 chances, so you really could have messed up a bunch there. So these are the other exercises that you do. Now this does not get reused on any other mini games. This is the only time you're going to do it, is in the performance review. But doing push-ups, you have to match the symbol as the arrow gets there. So X, square, triangle, circle. It's pretty easy. You just push it as it gets onto that symbol. And there will be one more exercise where you do that as well. There we go, the squats. So circle, X, square, triangle, nice and easy. Just match it up with that. This makes me think of the Final Fantasy VII squats minigame. But yeah, so that's I think pretty much every single minigame in the entire game. So hopefully that will help somebody out there. Again, most of these are pretty self-explanatory, and once you've done them a few times, they shouldn't be any problem. I played through the entire game. I never used one of the shields that you get in the actual missions or anything like that, and I was able to get S rank on pretty much everything. Yeah, let me know if you got a chance to play this, how you did with the mini games. Maybe you're better at the smelling salts than me. Let me know maybe I'm doing it wrong. Tell me how I can fix it. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, happy gaming.